Hi, everyone, and welcome back. So, we are now on session 3 of the virtual parenting circle. And this week, we're going to be talking about safety at the home or inside the home. Um, we're going to do a quick intro of who we are again. If you haven't watched any of our other videos, if you haven't, please check them out. They're on YouTube. You can find them under Native Child and Family Services of Toronto. We have a Facebook page, and we also have an Instagram account, and we'll put those in the descriptions. So please watch them. You can like, comment, share, DM us, send us an email. And yeah, so we're from Native Child and Family Services of Toronto. My name is Mercedes. I'm a program worker for the early years team, and I support caregivers with children 0 to 6. And I work at our main office downtown at 30 College.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna, and I work alongside Mercedes. Yes, so here is Natalie.
Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. I am a Nenoshe or family home visitor, and I am also on Mercedes and Anna's team, on the early years team.
Wonderful. So let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about safety with children in the home. But before we do that, let's recap on yesterday's, pardon me, last week's topic, which was attachment. So we had discussed the importance of attachment, how it is built on security, learning to trust or mistrust, and ultimately child getting through responding to being emotionally present, providing security, love, providing a mentally stimulating environment, things of that nature. We also discussed the difference between attachment and bonding. And lastly, we talked about the concept of circle of security. So going back to today's topic, the safety with children in the home.
Perfect. Thank you, Anna. So today we're going to be talking about safety in the home, and I'm just going to have a quick discussion about general safety within the home and things to think about. So no matter where you live, whether it be a house or an apartment, if you live in the big city, if you live in a suburb, or you live with outside the city in a smaller community, home and safety is really important, whether you have children or not. Just being mindful of where you're keeping things, but especially if you have small ones who are starting to become mobile and exploring, and also different things around safety for even infants. So things to be mindful of are what kind of locks you have on your entrances or exits in your home. Thinking about things that prevent fingers from being jammed as well. So sometimes there are certain kind of door stoppers that prevent the doors from closing all the way, so that little fingers don't get jammed in the doors by accident, because children at a young age are learning like basics, and they love doing things that are quite repetitive, like pouring and dumping, filling things up, opening and closing, turning things on and off. So being mindful of that kind of stuff, as well as sockets in your home. So if you have a lot of sockets, if you have any furniture that you're able to put in front of the socket so the child can't have access to it, as well as putting the safety stoppers they have. They sell them usually at places like Walmart, Toys R Us. You can probably find them on Amazon, maybe the dollar store. It prevents young ones from sticking things in the socket. It sounds silly, but it does happen, and you don't want an electric accident to happen. As well as if you are putting furniture in front of the sockets, making sure that it's not going to topple over. So if it's like a big shelf, making sure it's secured against the wall to prevent it from falling over, because it could fall over on the child or it could fall over on yourself, and it will hurt a lot or cause very serious harm. Other things to think about within the home, let's think about things like your kitchen. Where do you keep your cleaning supplies? Do you keep your cleaning supplies under the sink? I know I do. If you have little ones in the home, you're going to want to think about things like the special kind of locks, like childproof locks that you put on the cabinet doors to prevent them from opening, so that the children don't have access to them, because a lot of those are toxic chemicals that can cause very serious sicknesses and even lead to death. So it's be mindful and keep those out of your child's reach. So if you don't have locks and you're not able to get locks, then put it out of their reach. If you're able to put them up high, just make sure you're reading the bottles to see if there are any special instructions around heat and temperature. So like aerosol cans, you want to make sure you're not putting them probably on top of your fridge if your fridge heats up quite a bit. So be mindful of those things as well. Think about things like when you're cooking in the kitchen. If you're cooking and you're using the stove or the oven, if your child's old enough, go over some safety instructions you want to keep in place when you're using that device in your home. Like if the stove's on or you're cooking, that you're not playing around it because it could lead to an injury or can cause some serious harm to the child or yourself. The same thing if you're using the stove top. If you're cooking and you have a pot or pan and you have the handle outwards where it can be touched or hit by a hand or a body, make sure you keep those things pushed in, because the last thing you want is if you're boiling hot water or you have some oil for that to fling onto the ground. Someone could slip or to fling onto a person or yourself, because then you will become seriously burned. So you'll notice a lot in our discussions, we're talking about safety, and it might sound a little scary, but a lot of this, once you put it into practice, if you haven't already, is it becomes quite easy, and it's just great for everyday practice. Other things to think about if you are in a place that has more than one floor, depending on the age of your child, if they're just becoming mobile, just learning how to crawl, you maybe want to have some safety gates up. And that could even be if you're on one floor apartment, or maybe you have just like a ranch style home. You want to maybe have some safety gates up if there are certain parts of the house don't that aren't practical for childproofing. So if maybe you do a lot of things with construction, maybe you have a sewing room with a lot of small parts, you might want to consider either having a childproof doorknob on top of a doorknob that will lead to that kind of a space, so the child can't get in, or have a gate up so they can't access that space, so that way they aren't grabbing little things and swallowing them, or if there are more harmful things in this space like screws or nail guns, that they don't have access to them. And then back to the stairs, yes, have a safety gate up if possible, because you don't want your child to accidentally go down and have a little tumble. Children are quite resilient and they're built for survival, but those can still cause serious injuries that you do not want, or your child could, if they do fall downstairs, could develop a fear, which you don't really want. You want them to feel comfortable within their own home. Other things to be mindful of are things like the bathroom. So Natalie after will be talking a bit about water safety, or Anna, no, Natalie will be talking about water safety. But things like, do you keep chemicals in your bathroom as well to clean the bathroom? Do you have a lock on that? Do you have a medicine cabinet? Uh, is it accessible for a child to reach? Other things like the bedroom, in your own bedroom, do you have anything that needs to be staying out of the reach of the child if they're accessing your space? Is your furniture mounted onto the wall if it could topple over? So I mean, this isn't an exhaustive list. There are many things you can do within your own home, and every home is going to be different and varies. So just do whatever you think is best to try to keep the home safe and accessible to the child as much as possible. For things that are to be played with by the child or have access to, keep them at eye level for them or in reach of them. So like their toys and stuff, you're going to keep them lower, because if you have like a big shelf and you keep their toys higher and they try to reach for it, if it's in a big bin or if it's bin's quite heavy, it could fall into the child and hurt them. So just thinking about things that they can access, child-sized furniture. You're not going to have your child sitting on a adult-sized chair if they're really small without maybe like a bumper seat, because if they fall over again, it could cause an injury. So these are all just small things you can do within the home to take care of your child. Same with like your outdoor spaces. If you have a yard, or if you have maybe a paved staircase or paved entrance into the home, think about things that you could do to eliminate as much injury as possible when they're running outside, or if they're going out, talking about safety when you're opening the door, like, you wait for me and we're going to go out together, if you live by a busy street. So many different things. So now I'm going to pass the conversation on to the next part.
All right. Thank you, Mercedes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about bathing safety and water safety. So the key for water and bathing safety is really supervision. So infants and young children must always be supervised during bath time. So with infants, especially, it's really important for parents to always keep their hands on the infant while bathing them. And if the parent has to leave the bathroom or the room for any reason, it's important to take your child with you. Accidents can happen within seconds, unfortunately. And, things like drowning can occur within an inch of water. So these things happen really suddenly. So it's really important that the child is being watched at all times, or held at all times if they're infants. Other points to keep in mind is a child's skin is a lot thinner than our skin as adults. So, hot water can burn a child very easily. What you can do is you can test the temperature of the water with your elbow. That's usually a good rule of thumb before placing the infant or child into the bath. Some other key points are please keep in mind to keep the child upright when they're being bathed, um, as well as you want to gather all your bathing necessities before bath time. So your towels, your soaps, your shampoos, your washcloths, all of those things you want to gather before you start the bath and start your routine. This really enables parents to have less stress and also helps bath time run much more smoothly. So that's just another tip. And these things are all applicable also to water play, play outdoors, maybe in a kiddie pool or a water sensory table, those those things like that. These safety tips also apply to that as well.
All right, thank you so much, Nat. So now we're going to pass the conversation over to Anna, who's also going to be chatting about something with us around safety.
Thank you so much, ladies. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about choking, and choking can be a very, very scary experience for a parent. So here, the idea is we want to be able to prevent it. So we have to be mindful of large pieces of food or objects. We have to provide appropriate amounts of food in the mouth at one time. If at that time you are feeding the child or the child is feeding themselves, we have to be careful in regards to certain foods. For example, popcorn, hot dogs. Uh, Popcorn should be avoided, or in hot dogs cut lengthwise and then widthwise. As well as fruit and grapes, because we don't want it to get lodged either in the windpipe or the throat. Children start to get their molars around 1 years old or 1.5 years old. So they're not chomping just like we are. So we have to be mindful of that. In regards to toys or objects, things to consider that they could choke on. So if it fits through if it's smaller than an than an object that could fit through a toilet roll, it could get lodged. That's the perfect size for it to get lodged in the windpipe or the epiglottis. So that's something to look forward to. I mean, look for. Um, and no running while eating. That's also very important. Let's see. Also, too, in a case an event that your child is choking, it's important for you to know what to do. So there are courses that you can take, uh, either first aid accompanied with CPR, in order to know how to dislodge and assist your child to get rid of that object that is stuck. And of course, always be careful. Like if that were to happen and you're not able to assist your child in getting the object out, please consider calling 911, it is essential that your child gets this out. So that is imperative. Another thing to consider is when the child is crawling, that you would want to get on your hands and knees and try and see what your child is has access to. Is it the cords, as Mercedes was talking about? Is it things that have gone under the couch that for us, standing upright, we're not able to see that? So being mindful, getting down on all fours and just investigating the area is a good thing to do.
Those are really good points. And Anna is right. You should get down on their level and kind of see what they can access within the home, because it's hard to tell as an adult, really. You little things we might miss. So now we're going to move back to Natalie, who has another part of the discussion that we're going to go over.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about sleep safety and a few points regarding that. So, current research shows and indicates that the safest sleep position for an infant is on their back in a bassinet or a crib. Something I heard quite a while ago, which I really liked to help parents remember this, is when they put their baby in the crib or a bassinet on their back, they whisper to their baby, "Look up to your ancestors." So this is kind of a cute little thing just to remember that baby should be placed on their back, looking up to their ancestors. So a few other key points regarding safe sleep is co-sleeping, as nice as it sounds, unfortunately for safety reasons is not recommended. But bed sharing is, or sorry, room sharing is rather. So having your baby's bassinet or crib beside your bed. It's said that this can be more convenient for parents as the infant is right beside them. So for nighttime feeds, the baby is right there. Also, babies can sense their parents in the same room. They can smell their parents, and this tends to have them feel more secure, more calm, and it's all around has some great benefits. It's also showed that babies that share the same room with their parents also cry less during the night. So but once again, this is a personal choice. So you have to do what's best for your baby as well as for your family. This might not be the best way for your family or your baby. Some people prefer to have the infant in their own nursery or their own room, and that works best for them. So do what's best for you. Also, it's really important to try to provide a smoke-free environment for the baby, and to also keep toys and stuffies and crib bumper pads out of the crib. We want, and also pillows are not necessary. We want the greatest airflow that we can have for our babies in their crib or bassinet. So keeping that in mind, all of these things actually help to prevent SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. And if you would like to get more information about safe sleep, you can access resources and current information on the Toronto Public Health website, as well as consulting with your doctor or pediatrician or other support person that you're working with if you have any questions or concerns. And once again, if you want more information, Toronto Public Health is a really great resource, and feel free to ask us questions as well. Send us DMs. We're here to answer any questions or concerns that you might have.
Fantastic, Nat. So that was actually a good point that you brought up, and I'm hoping you can just expand on it just a little bit around the smoke-free environment. So say there's a parent or caregiver and they do smoke cigarettes, for instance, what kind of precautions should they be taking when they go outside, have a smoke, and they come back in? Should they do before they interact with their child again? Like, do you have any suggestions around that?
Sure. So I would suggest if the parents are smokers, to always smoke on the balcony with the door closed or outside. So really avoiding smoking within the home. The secondhand smoke for your babies and your children, you know, is an issue. So you want to just be really mindful to go outside, and when you do come inside, what I tell parents is to wash their hands before picking up the baby or handling their children. Same thing goes with breastfeeding mothers as well, just to be mindful of that. Washing your hands to make sure that that residue is off your hands before interacting with your child.
Okay, perfect. Anna, did you have any other points you wanted to add as well?
No, I think I covered them all.
Right, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to just mention quickly, it kind of relates to the same thing that Nat had said about being prepared when you're giving a bath with your little one. Doing the same thing when you're having diaper time is also quite important. So if you're using a change table or you're changing your child on an elevated surface, try to have like a diaper bin or a collection of stuff ready to go for when you're doing diaper time. So if you have like a little bin and with a few diapers inside, wipes, maybe bum cream, whatever you use, all put in one space. That way you don't have to leave your child unattended either. So that's another good thing that you could try to do to, it also alleviates a little bit of stress, but it also helps you stay quite prepared and it helps the process seem a lot less stressful. So that was our discussion today around safety in the house and in the home. Again, it's not an exhaustive list, and there will always be things that come up that you might think of. If you have any other questions around this topic, you can send us an email, you can send us a DM, you can like, comment, share on this post, and you could even just say hi, and we're more than welcome to say hi back or answer any questions that you might have. So next week, we're going to be talking about children's mental health. That'll be week 4's topic. And again, these videos come out every Thursday up until May 28th, which will be the last video for the session. It is 6 weeks. So anytime at this point, you can comment, again, message, DM us, rewatch some videos if you want. Again, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And if you have any more questions or you have a suggestion for things you'd like us to talk about in the future or groups you'd like to see come up, please let us know. We're all ears. We'd love to hear what you have to say. So until next week, I guess we will see you then. Stay safe, wash your hands, social distancing. Don't go to playgrounds right now. Public parks are kind of closed unless you're walking through them. Just, be safe, pay attention to whatever the government's currently saying around social distancing and precautions, because even if you don't feel like it's a great threat, think about the fine that you also might incur. Like, those are quite hefty as well. So just really be safe and also take care of yourself and practice self-care. Be kind. Any other points, friends?
I just
One
would like to
thing.
say,
Oh, go ahead, Hannah.
sorry, go ahead, Natalie.
I was just going to say, for those parents who are interested in doing infant or children's CPR courses, you know, they're available at various agencies in Toronto. Misway Beak is a training and employment agency in Toronto that offers that for Indigenous families. So just to keep that in mind, and if you want any more information about that, you can ask us as well.
And did you have anything to share? Oh, I think Anna
Thank
might have. Oh,
you,
sorry.
Natalie. I'd like to say one other thing. Sorry, pardon me? Yes, I would just like to share one thing if possible. For the parents that are smokers, just be mindful of the matches and the lighters that could possibly be in the reach of children. Otherwise, that is it for me. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.